Hi friends, welcome back to the garden. So it is June 15th today, and I finally was able to come out in the garden and shoot a garden tour. It has been raining pretty consistently over the last week or so, and I think in the last video I replaced one of the fig trees, and since then it has just been on and off raining. So I wanted to document some of the really awesome growth that we've had here in the past week and a half, really. Things are starting to wake up, come out of dormancy, and also the vegetable garden up by the house is really starting to take off. So I just wanted to go along and show you some of the things that has been doing really well, and then some of the things that are not doing so well, and I'm learning as I'm going. So right here behind me is where I planted all of my roses. I had a video on that earlier in the year. I think I planted these in about December when I got them just as like basically root balls with just a few stalks sticking up out of the bag, and we put them in and we're seeing some really good growth. So I'm going to take you along and show you that. So here is one of the roses. I think this is a red rose. It's doing really well. I planted some nasturtiums in between to kind of aid some of the bug pressure. This is a dahlia that I had planted. These were in containers and I just put them in the ground maybe a week or so ago. They're looking really good. And this is one of the yellow roses that I planted, and it looks so good. It's just starting to come up. There's a lot of buds all over the plant, so we should be seeing some really nice growth from it soon, but the smell is just amazing. I have another nasturtium here. It is a crawling nasturtium, and today I put my delphiniums in the ground. They were really slow at growing, so I just decided that I was going to put them in and see what happens. This is another rose. This is a red variety, as you can see from the buds. We got quite a few coming up. We had some really bad wind damage over the summer, or over the winter, excuse me. This is another delphinium. We had some really bad wind over the winter, so a few of the branches have broken, but this one is looking so nice. It is really starting to come along. This is another dahlia, sorry, that I planted a few weeks ago, and I think it's really happy in the ground now. It was really small, and they just came from tubers, so it's looking really nice. And another patch of nasturtium, and another rose. This is like a deep red rose that is coming up, and it looks fabulous. Now, the weeds have completely taken over, and if I don't stay on top of them, they choke everything out. So I've done my best to keep the weeds at bay, but I haven't gone all the way across. But these are looking so great. So I'm just going to turn around here, and the grass has exploded because of the rain, but I'll get to that sometime later this week. But this is an orange tree that we had. The wind did a lot of damage to the plant itself, but it looks like it's rebounding really well. We have like new growth coming from the bottom up here, and then off of this new branch here. So I have 3 citrus trees here at the front, just in front of the rose bushes, and this was a lemon tree, which I left in the ground because I thought, I don't see any new growth on it. It looks pretty scraggly. It looks like it's had a lot of damage as well, but this is kind of hopeful. I'm getting a little bit of green growth, and I start to see a couple of buds coming off the main stem here. So I'm going to let it do its thing and see what we get from it. Now over here, this is the last citrus tree that we had, and this is a tangerine, and also really bad wind damage to this tree. Okay, so this is our main driveway up to the house, and the first tree that I had here was a fig, and I recently replaced it about a week ago. And I wasn't sure how it was going to acclimate because the roots were really bound. When I first looked at it, it didn't look too bad, but after looking at how the roots were starting to grow almost up the pot, I decided to rough them up a lot, pretty much, and spread them outwards as much as I could. And I'm starting to see the buds swell on the end, so that is good. Let me turn you around and show you. So I'm starting to see buds here and at the end of this branch here and all the way up. So I'm hopeful that we will get some figs, but it was pretty bowed, so I came along and I staked it. I didn't want to do too much staking on this side just because it was pretty bent over, so I will come along slowly during the season and pull it back until it is fully erect. So this is our fig tree. Now this is either the plum or pear, I'm not too sure, but I have some growth on it, so it's doing well. I also had to stake this one because it was pretty leaned over. Oh my gosh, the grass is just so long, and I can't even believe I mowed 2 weeks ago. Okay, so this is the pear tree, and it's really coming along really nicely. And at the base, I have some growth, but this is where they graft the new part of the tree on. So what I'm gonna do, because it is not raining anymore, I'm just gonna pinch these off. There's another one on this side. I'm gonna pinch this one off. And the only reason I'm doing that is because I want growth on the grafted point. So there is one other bud over there, if you can see it, and I'm gonna leave that one. But the ones that were below, I don't want the energy from the tree to go into that one. But there are small growth points all around, so I'm really hopeful for that. Now this is the tree that you probably saw me spray with the soapy water solution because we had a lot of aphid and ant activity, and it seems like they're back again right here. So I'll have to come out and do that again. But all of the other leaves that I sprayed, I don't see any activity on that. So that is a good sign. So again, it looks really good. And I'm gonna have to come out later and spray it. But I mean, it's showing really good growth. So I also read that stone fruit trees tend to have leaf curling if they are lacking copper. I think it is some kind of fungus that could be transferred from when you buy the fruit from the store. So if I was to spray it right now, I will lose all of this green growth, and I really want to establish this tree into root development, not so much fruit development. So that will be on my list for next year. This is a green apple tree, which really took a long time to come out of dormancy, but it is showing really great progress. And all over the tree, I'm seeing green growth. And this is all above the graft point. So I am going to leave it. And again, I see ant activity and some aphids. So we're gonna have to come along and take care of that. But I'm happy with it. This is our nectarine tree, which surprised me the most, I wanna say, because I did not see any growth from this about a month ago, and then it just started to swell. The bud started to swell, and now I'm starting to get really good growth on it. So I'm happy with it. And there's even some growth coming from the bottom as well, which I'm gonna leave because it's not below the graft point, as you can see here. But it is looking really great so far. Okay, so now I'm going to take you into the vegetable patch that I had started as soon as we got here. We cut down a lot of trees along the back of the property. As you can see, there's a lot more trees to cut down. But we cleared this whole section all the way along to the back of the house. And all of those logs I cut into 4 to 6 feet logs. And I fashioned them into these, I'm going to call them log garden beds here, just to encompass the soil. And we put down some cardboard and I put some native soil on top, and then we topped it with a lot of compost. So we are seeing some really great growth here. And my husband and my kids for Christmas got me this arch, which I'm absolutely loving. And I have sweet peas that I planted from seed growing up the side of it, and they are producing like crazy. So this is the view of the trellis, and we'll start over here. So these are native marigolds that are here on the island. So I grabbed a few, and the color is just phenomenal. And we have a row of cherry tomatoes all along the side here. And in between all of the cherry tomatoes, I put lines of carrots. And I had hardly any expectations for the carrots because I didn't know if the weather was going to be too hot for them. But they ended up coming up really great. Over here I have some kale. I planted it early, but it took a really long time to come through. And I mean, you can see some munching on the leaves, but that's to be expected. Over here I planted some snapdragons, which are coming up really nice. And look at my lettuces. They are looking fabulous. I thought they were going to feel some stress with the heat, but they do not. So this is the sweet pea trellis that I have, and my word, look at the size of these sweet peas. This plant is completely loaded. It's almost as tall as I am, which is amazing. And it tastes so good. It was such a nice garden snack. My kids come out here and pick off of them all the time, and it's so great. So what I've been doing is, after I snack, I take the sweet peas and I just kind of wrap it around the trellis like this. And the tendrils hold on to themselves and they just do their thing. As you can see here, a ton of the trellis, a lot of the tendrils kind of held onto themselves up here, and they're doing so great. Like, look at the size of these peas. They look so good. Like, they are absolutely loaded. And there's still more coming. Like, these are flowers, and all of these flowers will turn into peas. So I'm really excited about that. Okay, this is the other side of the bed. I have some beets that I had put in earlier, but I don't know if they're going to actually form up because the weather has been like hot and cold, hot and cold. So I have zero expectation, but you can use the leaves for salad greens, which is kind of cool. Oh, maybe if I look down, I might be able to see some roots, but nothing substantial, but it's okay. I mean, this year was an experiment for me. I really wanted to see what I could grow. This is a cabbage, or no, sorry, a broccoli that's starting to form up. And then in between all of the tomatoes, I have a little bit of basil, which I thought was really great. And oh, if you look here, I have my first tomatoes, which is so exciting. I also have this pumpkin. I think that this pumpkin was going to be compost, and I really just threw it in here with no expectation whatsoever, and it's rebounding, so I'm hopeful. Okay, so this is the other side of the bed, on the other side of the trellis. These are snapdragon flowers, I have 2 rows of purple cabbage, 2 rows of green cabbage, which I need to come and thin out. And then I have an entire side of green onions, which they are coming up great. And I also put some bulb onions in there, but they don't look as great as they should, but that's okay. On this middle section, these are watermelons that I just threw some seeds in, hoping that something would come up, and they did. So that's great. These here, let me read the tag. This is a honeydew right in the front. I have some spinach that really, with the hot weather, they did not do well. So I'm gonna come along and pull those out. And then over here, I have some cantaloupe, which eventually will grow up and over, and I'm hoping to train it to go up the trellis. Okay, so this bed really needs an overhaul, but this is all the native soil that I had tried to save from the back of the house, and I planted garlic in it. I need to do some research to see when to pull the garlic, because they are starting to show browning on the bottom, and I don't want it to go to the point of having garlic scapes, because the bulb tends to split. So we'll see how that comes along. I have some more kale here, doing good. These are 2 rows of carrots, doing really good, and another row of lettuce, which is doing pretty good too. I threw some butternut squash seeds in here. So this is the butternut squash. I just threw the seeds in, and they are starting to really take off. So I'm gonna have to provide some kind of vertical support here, but I don't have a plan for that right now. These are beans that struggled really hard, so we'll see how that goes. This is the herb bed. We had some cilantro and some celery up in here. This is dill. It's looking really great, the dill. These are, look at the difference. This is rosemary that I bought from the store that I planted, and this is what I grew from seed. And oh my God, the smell of this. Oh, it's just amazing. And this is sage. I also planted from seed. I have 2 grow bags over here. This is potatoes, red potatoes, I think, or maybe Yukon Gold, I'm not sure. But I've had to fill the bag up quite a bit just to be able to fill it, because we were getting a lot of growth. This is my first time growing ginger. I've rotated the pot a couple of times, and it is showing so much growth, so I'm super excited about that. Okay, this is the last in-ground garden bed that I have. You saw me do an overhaul with this bed, with taking out a lot of the rocks and the native soil and topping it off with manure and garden compost, and it's looking really good. The only things that have germinated pretty much are the zucchinis that I planted along the middle. I have peppers all along the outsides of both sides of the bed, and then in each of the corners I have flowers just to encourage pollinators. And I popped a couple more snapdragons along the sides and a nasturtium just to see if I would get some nice growth. And it is. It's coming along. So these pots are kind of like a green stalk vertical planter, and I've put strawberry seeds on all of the sides of the pot. I'm pretty sure that I dropped 1 cucumber in here accidentally, but accidental growers are more than welcome. And they are coming up, just they are taking their sweet time. We have a raspberry over here, which I think that is the first raspberry bloom. So I'm excited about that. My son chose this one, so he's excited about it. He comes out and checks every day. These are gladiolas that I had saved from the back of the property before we did the excavating, and they are just going for it. They are so beautiful. I love the orange and red colors. They are killing it right now. So I have a second plant. I don't see any stalks coming up from that one, but that's okay. We'll leave them in here to regain some more energy. and hopefully they will be able to bloom for us next year. I have a raised garden bed over here that I planted some spinach and some lettuce just to get some more greens for the next months or so. We'll see how it goes. I have cilantro that is starting to flower, so every time I come I just like pick off the flowers. They smell amazing, but I replanted it just to ensure I have some more for the next couple of months. And here we have some basil that I had extra seeds, so I just threw them in these little jars, and they are doing really great. Like, I checked the other day, and that is all root development at the bottom of the pot, so I'm excited to see what happens there. These are cucumbers, but I've given it a couple of weeks now, and I don't see any growth, so I'm gonna add some more. These are another flower. I'm not sure, I think it's stalk. And these are some sunflowers that I had picked up. I'd love to put a sunflower patch somewhere out by the rock over there, just to encourage a lot more pollinators. And these are pansies that I just threw some seeds in. This is a iris, and this is a peony, which I have hope for, so I'm leaving it alone. And some chives. And over here, I have stock, 3 more pots of snapdragons, and another pot of stock. I planted some other flowers over here. I think these are violas, and I'm just starting to see some growth right now. Maybe the conditions weren't ideal. So the last item are these hydrangeas that I literally cut a stalk and stuck it in the ground. And it is so beautiful, looking so fabulous, and they're all different colors. I have them all the way down the side here. This one is pink. This one is like a bluey purple. This one is just starting to flower. And this one is a pink and a purple. So how fun. And oh, on this side, I have some more sunflowers. I think this is a teddy bear sunflower, and it's liking its life here. I have a couple more up there. Okay, so that is it for my garden tour in June. The garden is showing so much promise. There is so much growth happening, and I really want to take you along and show you the rest. But thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope we learned something along the way. There is so much that I am acclimatizing to myself, coming from a different zone, and I am learning and experimenting and doing my best with whatever I have. So if you'd like any more tips, or you have any tips for me about the garlic, or maybe some of the other hydrangeas that I'm growing along the side, I would love to hear them. Please leave them in the comments below, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks so much. Have a good day. Bye-bye.